the calm before the storm. The galaxy was vast, stretching far beyond the imagination of most beings. Stars glittered like scattered diamonds, and planets spun silently in their orbits. In this endless void, a great empire ruled, feared and respected in every corner of the known systems. Its fleets of starships were powerful, its weapons unmatched and its commanders ruthless. Planets bent to its will, and no force seemed capable of challenging it. Yet, among the countless stars and worlds, one small, blue planet sat quietly, almost unnoticed. Its people lived simple lives, thinking themselves ordinary, while the Empire never bothered to look too closely. It was considered weak, insignificant, and harmless. The Empire's eyes were focused on richer, larger, more promising worlds. Earth was nothing more than a quiet, forgotten dot in the galaxy. But Earth had a secret. A secret buried so deep that even its own inhabitants were unaware of it. Centuries ago, a civilization far older than any living today had walked this planet. They were brilliant, advanced, and powerful. And in their time they built a weapon, a machine designed to protect Earth from threats that no one could have imagined. When the civilization vanished, so did the machine. Forgotten, buried beneath mountains and oceans, it slept quietly, waiting for the moment it would be needed again. On a warm spring morning, life on Earth went on as usual. Children played in parks, cars rushed along city streets, and people sat in cafes, drinking coffee and gossiping about small, everyday worries. No one thought about the stars or distant fleets, or ancient machines hidden beneath their feet. And yet something stirred. In orbit above the planet, a faint signal pulsed through space. At first, it was barely detectable, something only the most advanced sensors could pick up. Scientists at orbital stations furrowed their brows, scanning and analyzing. The signal was strange, almost alive. It did not match anything known to human technology. It pulsed in patterns like a heartbeat, and slowly, almost imperceptibly, it grew stronger. On Earth, governments and space agencies noticed the anomaly. Debates began. Was it a natural phenomenon, a rogue asteroid, or something more? Some dismissed it immediately. After all, Earth had no known enemies beyond its atmosphere. But a few scientists felt a chill run down their spines. Something about the signal felt deliberate, intelligent, as if it was calling out. Far away, in the heart of the Empire, the grand fleets sailed through the darkness. The Imperial Command monitored countless worlds, preparing for expansion, conquest, and the enforcement of their law. They did not care for Earth, not yet. It was simply too small, too weak, too ordinary. Still, sensors on their distant patrol ships picked up the faint disturbance near this forgotten planet. Their commanders shrugged. There was nothing worth attention here. And so, the fleets continued their patrols, unaware of the storm that was beginning to awaken. Back on Earth, beneath the mountains and oceans, the ancient war machine stirred. Its systems had lain dormant for centuries, fueled by energy sources so powerful they defied human understanding. Slowly, it powered up, lights flickering deep within its hull, circuits humming as if waking from a long dream. It remembered its purpose. It remembered its duty. And it waited for the moment it would rise. Meanwhile, people went about their days, oblivious to the silent awakening below them. In bustling cities, commuters rushed to work, unaware that beneath their feet, something immense and ancient had begun to move. In quiet towns, farmers tilled their fields, the signal from space unnoticed, and the heartbeat of the planet's secret guardian continued its steady rhythm. High in orbit, satellites and stations continued to scan the skies. Scientists worked tirelessly to understand the strange patterns they saw. Reports were filed, debated, and dismissed in some corners. But among a small group of researchers, a sense of awe and fear began to grow. They had found something remarkable, something that should not exist in their time. And deep down they knew that whatever this was, it would change everything. On Earth's surface, news outlets picked up on the odd signals. Headlines were written, then rewritten, then buried under the endless stream of daily news. To the public it was nothing more than an anomaly, curious but not dangerous. Yet, for those who looked closer, for those who remembered the old myths and stories of ancient civilizations, there was a sense of wonder. Could this really be what the legend spoke of? Could Earth be hiding a secret powerful enough to shift the balance of the galaxy? Far away, the Empire's spies began to notice minor disturbances. A patrol ship reported strange energy readings near Earth. Imperial officers laughed. The planet was harmless. Nothing to worry about. Still, deep in the corridors of Imperial Command, whispers began. What if it isn't? A low voice said. But such warnings were ignored, dismissed as paranoia. The Empire had never been wrong before. Why would it be wrong now? And so the calm continued. Earth spun quietly in the void, bathed in sunlight, oblivious to the eyes watching it from afar. The Empire planned, the scientists wondered, and the machine waited. Deep underground, its systems hummed softly. It was ready, and soon the galaxy would remember that Earth was not as weak as it appeared. The stage was set. The calm before the storm had arrived. One day, the silence of this small blue planet would be broken, and the galaxy would witness a power that had slept for centuries. A power that no empire, no fleet, no ruler could ignore. The question was simple: when that day came, would anyone be ready? For now, the people of Earth continued their lives. They laughed, they cried, they loved, and they dreamed. They had no idea that beneath them, an ancient guardian was awakening. And that, when it did rise, it would show the galaxy the strength of a forgotten world. Earth. The awakening. The signal that had been quietly pulsing above Earth grew stronger each day. At first, only a handful of scientists noticed it, but soon the readings became impossible to ignore. Orbital stations, satellites, and deep space sensors all picked up the same strange patterns. It was no random phenomenon. Something intelligent, something powerful, was stirring beneath the planet's surface. In a secret underground research facility, Dr. Ilara Hayes leaned over a bank of monitors. Her eyes widened as she analyzed the latest data. It's not natural, she whispered almost to herself. It's alive in some way. It's reacting. Her team exchanged nervous glances. 4 months, they had been tracking anomalies, strange energy fluctuations beneath the Earth's crust, but nothing had prepared them for this. The patterns in the signal seemed deliberate, almost like a language. The war machine, long forgotten, was beginning to awaken. Deep underground, in a cavern larger than any city, the war machine began to hum. Massive panels shifted and rotated, gears and pistons moving with smooth, precise efficiency. Its surface was covered in metal older than human memory, etched with strange symbols and designs. Light began to glow from its core, illuminating the cavern with a soft, pulsating radiance. The machine's systems, dormant for centuries, started to synchronize. Its sensors scanned the caverns, its targeting arrays activated, and its energy reactors purged centuries of inactivity. Slowly it remembered its purpose. It was built to defend Earth, to strike down enemies that dared to threaten this small, overlooked world. And now it was awake again. Above ground, the first hints of something unusual began to show. Animals acted strangely, birds flew in unusual patterns, and the ocean seemed to shift beneath the moon's pull. Minor earthquakes were reported across several continents, yet no one could explain them. The world remained unaware that beneath its feet, an ancient guardian was stirring. Dr. Hayes and her team worked frantically to understand what they were witnessing. "This isn't just a machine," she said, staring at the main monitor. "It's intelligent. It knows what's happening. It's responding to the Empire's presence in space." The Empire, still confident and unaware, had no idea that their distant patrols were being watched. Their ships moved with precision and arrogance, their commanders believing that Earth posed no threat. But as the war machine fully powered up, energy readings surged into levels that even the Empire's most advanced scanners could detect. The war machine slowly moved, its massive form adjusting as if testing its strength. Its weapon systems came online, and a hum of energy filled the cavern. The air itself seemed charged, vibrating with power. For the first time in centuries, it would fulfill its purpose. Back on Earth, scientists began to notice the physical effects. Power grids fluctuated, magnetic fields wavered, and strange lights appeared in the skies over remote areas. News stations reported unexplainable auroras and bursts of energy, but explanations were speculative at best. No one could comprehend the scale of what was happening below them. Meanwhile, the Empire's fleets, patrolling near the edges of the solar system, began to sense disturbances. Ships reported sudden energy spikes and unusual gravitational readings. Commanders discussed it briefly and dismissed it as natural anomalies. They had no idea that Earth's secret weapon was awakening, preparing to strike in defense of a planet they had long ignored. Deep underground, the war machine extended appendages, large mechanical limbs that could manipulate objects, and weapon systems that could target with surgical precision. It scanned the skies, its sensors locking onto distant fleets with incredible accuracy. It was aware of the Empire, aware of their arrogance, and ready to respond. In the research facility, Dr. Hayes watched in awe and fear. "It's beautiful," she whispered, "but terrifying." Her team could barely comprehend what they were witnessing. The machine was ancient, far beyond any human technology, yet its design was elegant, precise, and purposeful. It was as if it had been waiting not just for centuries, but for this exact moment. Then, suddenly, a signal from the machine reached out into space. A pulse of energy so strong it momentarily blinded sensors and disrupted communications. The Empire's distant patrol ships detected the surge and immediately sent reports. Commanders frowned. Something was different. Something was changing. The war machine was not just awakening, it was aware. Its energy output increased, lights flared across its massive body, and the ground trembled as it moved deeper toward the surface. It had been silent for centuries, hidden beneath mountains and oceans, but now it was rising. Its systems aligned with precision, ready to unleash power that no Empire ship could withstand. Dr. Hayes's voice trembled as she recorded observations. If this is a weapon, it's unlike anything the galaxy has ever seen, she said. It's not just for defense, it's a statement. A warning. And it knows exactly what it's protecting. Outside, the world remained oblivious. Cities buzzed with everyday life, children laughed in parks, and people moved through streets, unaware of the ancient guardian below them. But soon they would witness the impossible. The Earth that had seemed so ordinary, so weak in the eyes of the galaxy, was preparing to reveal its strength. The war machine's hum grew louder, reverberating through the planet like a heartbeat. Its sensors fixed on the distant stars, scanning for threats, calculating strategies, and preparing for the inevitable confrontation. The Empire's fleets, arrogant and unsuspecting, were closing in. And then, as the sun set over the horizon, a faint light flickered in the skies above remote regions. It was subtle, barely noticeable, but to those who saw it, it was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. A reminder that Earth had secrets, and that sometimes, the smallest, quietest world could hold the greatest power in the galaxy. The stage was set. The war machine had awakened. Earth's secret guardian, long forgotten, was alive once more. And soon, the galaxy would see that even the mightiest fleets could be undone by a single determined planet. The Empire notices. The Empire's fleets moved confidently through the blackness of space. Their ships gleamed like silver blades under distant stars, bristling with weapons, shields, and technology designed to dominate any opponent. For centuries they had conquered worlds, crushed rebellions, and faced threats that would have destroyed lesser civilizations. And yet, the fleets approaching Earth believed they were untouchable. In the command chambers of the Empire's flagship, Admiral Cale Voss studied the latest reports from his scouts. Nothing unusual, he said, brushing a hand across the holographic display. The planet is insignificant. Proceed as planned. No distractions. His voice was firm, confident, unshaken by the vast void surrounding them. But the patrol ships had noticed something. A few distant probes reported strange energy surges near Earth, bursts of power that could not be explained by natural phenomena. The Empire's officers debated briefly, but most dismissed the anomalies as minor disturbances, perhaps solar flares or electromagnetic interference. Earth is harmless, Voss repeated. We have no reason to worry. Yet even as the fleets advanced, the war machine beneath Earth's surface continued its silent rise. Its massive sensors scanned the approaching ships, tracking their positions, their speed, and their weapon systems. It did not move recklessly, it calculated, assessed, and prepared for the moment it would act. Every pulse of its power was deliberate. Every light that glowed across its hull was a warning unseen by the Empire. Back on Earth, Dr. Alara Hayes and her team worked frantically. The machine's energy outputs had begun to affect the planet's magnetic fields, triggering unusual auroras, shifting weather patterns, and minor earthquakes. Their monitors displayed unprecedented readings, data that no human had ever recorded before. It's aware, she said, staring at the graphs in disbelief. It knows the Empire is coming. It's preparing to defend us. Her words carried weight, but few on the surface understood the danger or the scale of what was awakening below them. To most it was a curiosity, a strange signal in the skies. To the Empire it was insignificant. But the war machine did not care for ignorance or underestimation. It had been built to act when the galaxy threatened Earth, and the time had come. On the edge of the solar system, Imperial sensors began to register more than just energy surges. Ships reported unusual gravitational anomalies and distortions in spacetime. Communications flickered and disrupted briefly. Officers frowned, uneasy. Something is happening near that planet, a lieutenant said. We should investigate. Admiral Voss waved him off. Unnecessary, he said. The readings are minor. Nothing can harm our fleets. Earth remains a weak, insignificant world. But as the Empire dismissed the warning, the first effects of the war machine became undeniable. One of the patrol ships, scanning closer to Earth, experienced a sudden surge of energy. Lights flickered, engines struggled, and its shield strained against invisible forces. Alarm sirens blared, sending a shock of panic through the bridge crew. "What is happening?" the captain shouted, trying to regain control. The sensors displayed energy readings far beyond anything they had ever encountered. Weapons systems overloaded, and for a moment the ship was paralyzed. Back on the flagship, the reports came in one after another. "Multiple ships reporting malfunctions," a junior officer said. "Sensors are failing. Engines are unstable. We are losing control of the fleet." Admiral Voss's confidence faltered for the first time. His eyes narrowed as he studied the incoming data. "Impossible," he muttered. "This world, it should be defenseless. We are the Empire." But the readings could not be ignored. Every patrol ship in orbit of Earth experienced strange interference, a force that disabled systems, disrupted communication, and made targeting nearly impossible. The Empire began to realize too late that they had underestimated the planet. Deep underground, the war machine had fully emerged from its hidden chamber. Its massive form cast shadows over the cavern walls, its lights glowing with a power both beautiful and terrifying. It moved with purpose, deploying its sensors and weapons, ready to defend Earth from the arrogant fleet above. Dr. Hayes and her team watched in awe and fear. "It's fully awake now," she said. "Whatever happens next, there's no turning back." In orbit, the Empire's ships tried to regroup. Their officers barked orders, attempting to regain control, but every command seemed delayed, every system slowed by the machine's interference. Panic spread quickly through the ranks, and even the most disciplined crews struggled to maintain formation. "Admiral," a young officer shouted, "we cannot hold the fleet together. It's targeting us." Voss's face went pale. He had believed himself untouchable. He had believed the galaxy would bend to his will. But now he was faced with something entirely unexpected. Something beyond his comprehension. Earth, the small, overlooked planet, was rising to defend itself. The war machine hovered silently in orbit above the planet, its weapon systems charged, its sensors fixed on the approaching fleet. It did not strike immediately. It did not need to. Its presence alone sent a message. The Empire had miscalculated. Their arrogance had blinded them to the true power of the world they thought was weak. On Earth, people noticed unusual phenomena in the skies. Bright flashes of light, strange auroras, and tremors across the land. No one knew what caused them, but some felt a shiver of awe, as if the planet itself was waking up. And in the hearts of those who looked closely, hope began to grow. Perhaps Earth was not as powerless as the galaxy believed. In the depths of space, the Empire's pride began to crumble. Ships faltered, officers argued, and for the first time, fear replaced confidence. The war machine had made its presence known. Earth, long ignored and underestimated, was no longer a silent world. Admiral Voss clenched his fists. "Prepare for battle," he ordered, though he knew deep down that the odds had shifted. The Empire had been arrogant, dismissive, and cruel. And now they would face the consequences of underestimating a planet they had long overlooked. The calm was over. The Empire had noticed. And soon the war machine would strike, showing the galaxy that even the smallest, quietest world could hold the greatest power. First contact. The stars stretched endlessly across the void as the Empire's fleet approached Earth. Hundreds of ships, each a fortress of metal and firepower, glided silently through space. Confidence filled every officer aboard the fleet's flagship. They had conquered countless worlds, faced enemies that could have destroyed Earth in moments, yet still this planet seemed harmless. But the calm certainty of the Empire was about to shatter. Deep beneath Earth's surface, the war machine had emerged fully from its hidden cavern. Its colossal form hovered in orbit, a mountain of ancient metal humming with immense energy. Lights glowed across its hull, pulsing like a heartbeat. Its sensors scanned the approaching fleet with precision, reading every movement, every weapon system, every shield configuration. The first patrol ships entered the planet's upper orbit. They were met not with cannon fire, but with a sudden, overwhelming sense of unease. Systems flickered. Engines momentarily stalled. Communications faltered. The crews stared at their consoles, eyes wide with disbelief. "What is happening?" one officer whispered. "Our instruments aren't working correctly." Admiral Cale Voss paced the bridge of the flagship. His confidence had begun to falter. "Report," he demanded. "Why are the systems failing?" Lieutenants scrambled to respond, pointing at fluctuating readings and blinking warning lights. "It's something massive, sir," one officer said. "We can't get a clear scan. It's enormous." Suddenly the war machine revealed itself fully. Its massive body moved with terrifying grace, defying its size. Mechanical limbs extended, weapons arrays powered up, and energy shields glowed across its hull. It was alive in every sense, not just a machine but a guardian, ancient and unstoppable. The Empire's fleet responded as it always did, with arrogance. Weapons powered up, lasers and missiles locked on their target, ready to destroy what they believed to be a defensive system. But the war machine did not panic. It waited, analyzing the fleet's formation, calculating every angle, every weakness. Then it struck. A pulse of energy stronger than anything the Empire had ever seen shot from the war machine. It struck the first patrol ship before the crew could react. The ship trembled violently, systems overloaded, and with a blinding flash, it disintegrated into fragments. Silence followed for a moment as if the universe itself had paused. What just happened?" a crew member stammered. Another ship tried to respond, firing its weapons blindly, but every attack missed as if reality itself had shifted around them. The war machine moved with precision, dismantling each ship without haste, without error, but with an unstoppable inevitability. Admiral Voss's face went pale. He had faced impossible odds before, but this was beyond comprehension. "Fall back," he shouted. "Regroup the fleet. Do not engage." It was too late. The war machine had already disabled half of the approaching ships. Shields collapsed, engines failed, and the fleet began to scatter. Panic erupted aboard every vessel. Officers shouted orders, crews scrambled, but the machine anticipated each movement. It was as if the fleet was a chessboard, and the war machine was playing the game with centuries of knowledge. Meanwhile, on Earth, people watched the skies. Strange lights danced across the horizon. Bright flashes, streaks of energy, and vibrations that shook the ground were visible even from distant cities. No one understood the scale of what was happening, but a quiet awe spread across humanity. The world they had always thought small, weak, and powerless was revealing a strength beyond imagination. Back in orbit, the war machine continued its precision attacks. Each strike was deliberate, disabling ships without unnecessary destruction. Even as ships exploded or fell into chaos, the machine maintained perfect control. It was not driven by anger or revenge or malice, it was driven by purpose, the defense of Earth. Admiral Voss struggled to maintain order. "Pull the fleet back to a safe distance," he ordered, though he knew their safety was already gone. Communications with the fleet broke down completely. Many ships could not respond. Many crews could only watch in horror as the war machine dismantled their formations with ease. The flagship itself became the target. The war machine's sensors locked onto it, calculating the perfect approach. A beam of concentrated energy struck, forcing shields to flare and engines to stutter. Explosions rocked the vessel, throwing officers from consoles. Panic and disbelief spread across the bridge. Admiral Voss's voice was trembling now. "We underestimated them, we underestimated this world." For the first time in history, the Empire's fleet, vast and powerful, faced a single world and a single weapon that could challenge them. Earth, the quiet, overlooked planet, had risen. Its guardian had awakened. And yet, the war machine did not pursue total destruction. It paused as if making a statement. Its presence alone was enough to force the Empire's retreat. Every crew member on every ship could feel it. This was not chaos, this was judgment. Earth was no longer a planet to be ignored. As the surviving ships of the Empire scrambled to escape, energy pulses from the machine cleared a path, sending them fleeing in terror. 4 hours, the fleet attempted to regroup, but the war machine's awareness was absolute. Every move was anticipated, every threat neutralized, and every ship forced into retreat. On Earth, the first news of strange energy readings reached the public. Videos and images captured bursts of light and tremors in the skies. People whispered about the impossible, the miraculous. Legends of ancient civilizations, long dismissed as myth, began to feel real. Humanity had witnessed its guardian in action, and the world would never be the same. The war machine finally withdrew from direct engagement, retreating to a higher orbit. Its lights dimmed slightly, its sensors still scanning the fleeing Empire ships. It had made its point. Earth was defended, its people protected, and its existence could no longer be ignored. Admiral Voss watched helplessly as his fleet limped away. His pride, his arrogance, and his certainty were shattered. He had thought Earth weak. He had thought himself untouchable. But he had been wrong. Terribly wrong. The calm of the galaxy had ended. The first contact was over, but the message was clear. Earth was not defenseless. And the war machine, ancient and silent for centuries, had reminded the galaxy of one simple truth: never underestimate a world that defends itself. The battle escalates. The Empire's retreat had been chaotic, but their pride demanded a counterattack. Ships regrouped at the edge of the system, engines burning, weapons recharging. Their commanders, humiliated by the first encounter with Earth's war machine, vowed revenge. The fleet was larger now, more heavily armed and more determined. They had underestimated Earth once. They would not make the same mistake again. High above the planet, the war machine waited. Its massive body hovered in orbit, sensors scanning the incoming fleet. It did not need to move quickly, precision mattered more than speed. Each weapon system charged, energy pulsing through its core, ready to strike. The machine had learned from the first skirmish. It was not just defending, it was now prepared for the full-scale assault. Back on Earth, Dr. Ilara Hayes and her team monitored the battle through orbital satellites and deep space sensors. "They're coming back," she said, voice tense but calm. "Much bigger this time. The Empire won't leave quietly." Her colleagues nodded, understanding the stakes. For the first time in human history, Earth faced a threat so immense that the survival of the planet depended on a single, ancient guardian. Yet hope lingered. They knew the war machine was prepared, far beyond anything humanity could control, but its alignment with Earth's defense gave them courage. The Empire's fleet entered the solar system in formation. Hundreds of ships glimmered under the distant sunlight, engines roaring. Lasers glowed along their hulls, ready to fire. Missiles and torpedoes streaked toward Earth, a river of destruction meant to overwhelm any defense. Their commanders were confident, relying on the same arrogance that had guided them through centuries of conquest. The war machine acted first. Its sensors locked onto the fleet, calculating trajectory, speed, and shield strength. Then, with a pulse of energy, it fired. Beams of concentrated power struck the lead ships, disabling engines and knocking systems offline. The fleet staggered, uncertainty rippling through their ranks. The first wave had failed. Imperial officers shouted orders as chaos erupted aboard the fleet. "Form a defensive perimeter," one yelled. "Engage the target from all angles." Lasers and missiles blazed toward the war machine, but each attack was anticipated. Shields flared, weapons were deflected, and energy pulses from the machine disrupted targeting systems. Every move of the Empire was mirrored, countered, neutralized. The war machine moved like a predator through space. Its massive limbs and weapons systems shifted with terrifying precision. Smaller attack ships were crushed effortlessly, larger vessels disabled in moments. The fleet's cohesion began to crumble. Panic spread among the officers. Every calculated strike from the machine was a lesson in strategy, intelligence, and inevitability. On Earth, citizens noticed unusual flashes in the sky. Bright beams, explosions, and tremors reached the surface, visible even from cities far from the battle's center. Rumors spread quickly. People whispered about something impossible, an ancient weapon, a guardian, a protector rising from the planet itself. Fear and awe mixed, and humanity began to understand that their world was far from ordinary. The battle escalated further. The Empire's flagship, a massive dreadnought bristling with weapons, attempted a direct assault. Its cannons fired volleys of energy toward the war machine, seeking to overwhelm its defenses. But the machine anticipated the attack, diverting power to shields, redirecting energy pulses, and striking with pinpoint accuracy. Explosions rocked the flagship, tearing through armor and hull, forcing it to retreat. Admiral Voss's voice cracked as he barked orders. "Hold the line. Do not let them breach formation." But the line was already broken. Fleet ships drifted aimlessly, engines faltering, weapons offline. The war machine's assault was relentless, precise, and unstoppable. Dr. Hayes and her team watched every development in stunned silence. It's incredible," she whispered. "Every move they make, it's anticipated. It's like it knows exactly what they will do." The Empire attempted another strategy: divide and conquer. Squadrons split from the main fleet, trying to flank the war machine from different angles. Lasers and missiles streaked across space from multiple directions. But the machine's sensors rotated, targeting each threat with mechanical precision. Smaller ships were disintegrated, larger ships crippled. The flanking maneuver failed before it began. Amid the chaos, the war machine did something unexpected. It paused briefly, then deployed defensive fields that protected nearby sections of the fleet from collateral damage. It did not strike with needless fury. Its attacks were calculated, focused on neutralizing the Empire while preserving the planet below. Humanity began to see the machine not only as a weapon, but as a guardian, acting with purpose and intelligence. The Empire's morale collapsed. Officers argued, crews panicked, and even the most disciplined soldiers trembled before the unstoppable force they faced. Every attempt to regroup, every desperate tactic failed. The fleet's pride, once unshakable, crumbled under the weight of reality. Earth was no longer a passive world. It had risen, and its ancient guardian was unmatched. Finally, the war machine turned toward the flagship itself. Its massive targeting systems locked onto the enemy leader. With a single pulse of energy, the flagship's shields collapsed, engines failed, and the vessel lurched uncontrollably. Explosions tore through the hull. The Empire's command structure faltered as the flagship drifted, crippled and vulnerable. Admiral Voss stared at the damage, disbelief etched across his face. We cannot hold them," he muttered. His arrogance, his certainty, his centuries of experience, none of it mattered now. Earth had revealed its true strength, and the Empire could do nothing to stop it. As the war machine hovered above the planet, the remaining fleet attempted a hasty retreat. Energy pulses followed, disabling pursuit ships, forcing the Empire to abandon the system. The battle had escalated to a point of total domination. Earth's secret weapon had not only defended the planet, it had crushed one of the most powerful fleets in the galaxy. On Earth, people gazed at the skies. They saw flashes of light, tremors, and energy streaks. Fear mixed with wonder. Humanity had glimpsed the impossible, witnessed the awakening of a guardian that had slept for centuries. And though most could not understand the scale of what had occurred, they knew one thing: Earth was no longer a small, weak planet. It had risen, and it would defend itself. The war machine hovered silently, surveying the retreating fleet. Its lights dimmed slightly, but sensors remained active, watching the Empire withdraw. It had acted with precision, intelligence, and purpose. It had shown the galaxy that Earth was not to be underestimated. The battle was far from over. The Empire would regroup and new challenges would emerge. But for the first time, Earth and its people understood their true power. A forgotten guardian, ancient and unstoppable, was now awake. The galaxy had witnessed the rise of Earth's war machine. And the Empire would never forget it. Turning the tide. The remnants of the Empire's fleet struggled to regroup, battered and broken from the relentless assault of Earth's war machine. The once confident officers now faced a reality they had never imagined. Their superior numbers, advanced weapons, and centuries of experience were no match for a single ancient guardian. Panic simmered beneath the surface of their command, and whispers of fear spread through the ranks. Admiral Kale Voss tried to rally his forces. "Form a defensive perimeter," he barked, though his voice wavered. "We cannot allow this planet to destroy our fleet completely." But the fleet was fractured. Ships floated aimlessly, engines sparking, systems failing. Every attempt to regain control was countered by the war machine with ease. It moved with precision, disabling weapons before they could fire, disrupting shields before they could regenerate, and striking at key points with unerring accuracy. The war machine was more than a weapon. It was strategy, intelligence, and instinct combined. It read the Empire's tactics like an open book, anticipating every maneuver. Every time the fleet tried to flank, it countered. Every attempt to overwhelm it, it neutralized. Slowly, deliberately, it began to turn the battle decisively in favor of Earth. In orbit around Earth, Dr. Elara Hayes and her team monitored the unfolding events. "Look at this," she whispered, pointing at the data streaming across their screens. "It's like it knows exactly what they're planning, every move." Her colleague, Dr. Rian Chen, nodded. "It's as if it's alive, not just a machine. And it's protecting us, guiding the defense. We are witnessing something incredible." Back in the Empire's fleet, chaos was everywhere. Officers shouted orders, but their words were lost in the confusion. Systems failed without warning. Communications dropped intermittently. Fear replaced confidence. Ships that had once been symbols of power were now helpless, drifting targets in the path of Earth's unstoppable guardian. The flagship, still partially operational, tried a desperate tactic. "Divert all firepower to its core," one officer shouted. "We will destroy it before it disables the entire fleet." Admiral Voss hesitated, knowing in his heart that the odds were stacked against them. "Do it," he finally ordered. "We have no choice." Missiles, laser beams, and energy torpedoes converged on the war machine's core. For a moment, it seemed as if the Empire might succeed. But then the machine reacted. Its massive shields flared with brilliant energy, absorbing and dispersing the attacks. Counterpulses disabled weapons before they could reach full power. Smaller ships attempting to flank were vaporized in seconds. Every strike the Empire launched was met with precision, every maneuver anticipated. The tide of the battle was turning. The war machine was no longer defending, it was asserting dominance. It moved through the fleet like a predator through prey, targeting leaders, crippling vessels, and forcing retreats. Officers argued and pleaded, but no action could stop it. Dr. Hayes and her team watched in awe. It's pushing them back, she said. The Empire thought they could crush Earth, but now they're the ones retreating. The war machine's focus shifted to the Empire's flagship. Its massive targeting arrays locked onto the vessel, calculating every possible escape route, every defensive measure. Energy pulses struck with surgical precision, disabling shields, engines, and weapons. Explosions rocked the command bridge, sending alarms blaring throughout the ship. Admiral Voss watched in disbelief as his pride, power, and experience crumbled before him. "Impossible," he muttered. How can one world?" Meanwhile, smaller Imperial ships attempted to regroup, forming loose defensive clusters. But the war machine anticipated each move. Energy pulses disrupted engines, shields failed, and weapons misfired. Chaos spread, morale collapsed, and the fleet fractured completely. On Earth, people watched the sky with a mixture of fear and awe. Bright flashes of light streaked across the heavens, accompanied by distant tremors and thunderous sounds. No one fully understood what they were witnessing, but they could feel the power of something ancient, unstoppable, and protective. As the flagship faltered, the war machine delivered a final, precise strike. The ship's engines failed completely, and its weapons went offline. It floated helpless, a symbol of the Empire's arrogance and their underestimation of Earth. The remaining fleet, witnessing the destruction, began to retreat, scattering into the void of space. The war machine did not pursue. Its mission was not destruction, it was protection. It hovered silently, its sensors scanning the retreating fleet, ensuring no further threat could approach the planet. The message was clear: Earth would not be conquered. Dr. Hayes turned to her team, voice trembling with emotion. "It's over, for now. The Empire is retreating. Earth, our planet, has survived." Her colleagues nodded, understanding the significance. Humanity had witnessed its hidden guardian in action, and the galaxy had been warned. Earth was not a planet to be taken lightly. The war machine's energy pulsed softly, a reminder of its presence and power. It had defended its world, turned the tide of battle, and shown the Empire that even the mightiest forces could be undone by a single determined planet. For the people of Earth, hope and pride filled their hearts. They had always lived quietly, thinking themselves powerless in the vast galaxy. Now they had witnessed proof that their world was strong, that it could protect itself against even the most formidable enemies. The battle had turned, and the galaxy would never forget it. Earth had risen, and its guardian had proven that the smallest, quietest world could hold the greatest power. A new dawn. The battle was over. The Empire's fleet, once confident and invincible, had been forced into retreat. Ships limped away through the void, engines damaged, weapons offline, morale shattered. For the first time in history, the galaxy had witnessed Earth's true strength. A small, overlooked planet had defended itself against the mightiest force in the known systems, and had emerged victorious. High above the planet, the war machine hovered silently in orbit. Its lights glowed softly, pulsing like a heartbeat, as if acknowledging its victory. It did not celebrate. It did not gloat. Its purpose had been fulfilled. Earth was safe. The fleet that had threatened it had been neutralized, and the planet itself remained unharmed. On Earth, people emerged from their homes, eyes turned toward the sky. Strange flashes of light, tremors, and bursts of energy had shaken the world, leaving awe and wonder in their wake. Scientists, engineers, and ordinary citizens alike stared upward, trying to comprehend what had occurred. Though few could understand the scale of the events, all felt the same thing: pride. Their world, small and quiet, had risen to meet the greatest threat the galaxy had ever sent, and it had survived. Dr. Elara Hayes and her team gathered in the observation center, monitors showing the retreating Empire fleet. "They'll be back," one of her colleagues said cautiously. "The Empire won't forget this." Dr. Hayes nodded. "Perhaps. But they'll think twice before underestimating Earth again. They've seen what we, and our guardian, can do." The war machine descended slowly, returning to a hidden chamber deep beneath the planet's surface. Mountains shifted, oceans rippled, and massive doors closed silently behind it. It did not need to strike again. Its presence alone had proven enough to secure the planet's safety. It would wait as it always had, ready for the next time the galaxy threatened its home. The people of Earth began to change. Fear of the unknown was replaced by hope, curiosity, and pride. The quiet planet that had been overlooked for centuries now had a story to tell, a power to be respected. Legends of ancient civilizations and hidden guardians, once dismissed as myth, were suddenly given new meaning. Humanity realized that they were not powerless. They had a protector, a being older and stronger than anything they could imagine. In the Empire, Admiral Kale Voss returned to the command halls, his mind heavy with disbelief and shame. The defeat weighed on him, a humbling lesson in arrogance. He had assumed Earth was weak, that its people could not resist. He had been wrong. Terribly wrong. The galaxy had changed, and the Empire would need to reconsider its approach to smaller, overlooked worlds. As Earth settled into a new dawn, the planet itself seemed to breathe with renewed life. Cities buzzed with activity, communities grew closer, and humanity's understanding of their place in the galaxy shifted. They were no longer insignificant. They were survivors. They were defenders. And they were no longer alone. The war machine, ancient and silent, stood watch, ensuring that the world would remain safe from any who dared to challenge it. Dr. Hayes and her team walked outside as the first rays of sunlight touched the horizon. The sky glowed in shades of pink and gold, reflecting the calm after the storm. "We have witnessed something incredible," she said softly. "And yet there's still so much we don't understand. This is only the beginning." Her colleague smiled. "It doesn't matter. Whatever comes next, we know we have a protector. We've seen it. We've felt its power. And the galaxy will never forget Earth again." In orbit, the war machine remained vigilant, scanning the stars for any sign of returning threats. Its systems hummed, lights pulsing softly as if alive. It had done its duty. It had reminded the galaxy that even the smallest, quietest worlds could hold the greatest power. And though it returned to silence, waiting for the next time it would be needed, its message was clear. Earth would never be conquered. The Empire would regroup, other civilizations might notice, and new challenges would inevitably arrive. But Earth had discovered its strength, and its guardian was awake. The world had survived the impossible, defended itself against overwhelming odds, and emerged stronger than ever. As the sun rose higher, casting its golden light across mountains, oceans, and cities, humanity felt a sense of unity and purpose. They had witnessed history, stood in awe of the impossible, and realized that their world, long overlooked and underestimated, was capable of greatness. The galaxy would remember this day. The Empire would remember this day. And humanity would remember the power that had saved their world. A silent, ancient guardian that had risen from the shadows to remind the universe that Earth was not weak, and would never again be ignored. A new dawn had arrived. And with it came a promise. Earth would endure. Earth would thrive. And the war machine, ever watchful, would remain, protecting its world for as long as it was needed. The stars above shone brightly as if celebrating the triumph of a quiet, forgotten planet. A planet that had awakened, fought back, and changed the course of the galaxy forever.